Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit.
The 2025 German MotoGP once again delivered a thrilling drama involving two top riders, Marc Marquez and Fabio Di Gianantonio. One of the most notable moments in the main race occurred when Ducati VR46 rider Fabio Di Gianantonio aggressively attempted to catch up to Marquez, but ended up crashing out and failing to finish. Diggia, Di Gianantonio's nickname, was competitive from the start of the race. Starting from fourth position, he demonstrated exceptional speed and consistency in maintaining his racing pace. After overtaking several top riders early in the lap, his focus shifted to one rider, Marc Marquez, who was leading the race with a narrow advantage. I knew this was a crucial moment. I felt the bike was in top condition, the grip was still good, and I thought this was the time to attack, Diggia said in a post-race interview with the paddock media. However, his attempt to challenge the Sachsenring King backfired. Entering the 19th lap of the 30-lap race, Diggia began pushing aggressively. At turn 11, he tried to close the gap faster than usual but lost control of the front of his bike and crashed into the gravel. The crash immediately silenced the VR46 paddock, as the podium was within reach before the crash occurred. Diggia, though not seriously injured, looked visibly disappointed as he returned to the paddock. When you try to catch Marc, you have to be 110% ready, both mentally and technically. He's not an ordinary rider. His speed is extraordinary, and the pressure is constant. I admit I pushed too hard. And when you force the bike beyond its limits to keep up with him, this is the risk you take, Diggia said regretfully. Interestingly, Diggia also mentioned that he had actually felt the bike starting to wobble 2 laps before the incident. However, because he was too focused on Marquez, he ignored those signs. I should have been more patient. But in racing, especially when you're in the lead, the instinct to attack sometimes overrides the instinct to defend. And this time, that instinct cost me everything, he added. Marc Marquez himself commented briefly on the incident after the race. I knew Diggia was behind me. He's fast. But Sachsenring is about rhythm and patience. I just kept my rhythm, and incidents like that can happen if you push too hard on this track, said Marquez. With this, DNF did not finish. Result, Diggia lost valuable points in the 2025 MotoGP standings. Nevertheless, his performance still received praise from many observers for his courage and performance before the crash. The VR46 team, through its team manager, stated that they fully support their rider. They view what Diggia did as part of the process of becoming a top-level rider, taking risks for maximum results. MotoGP will now continue with the next round at the Assen circuit in the Netherlands, and Diggia emphasized that this incident won't stop him. I will learn from this. Marc is a great rider, and to beat him, I also have to become greater, he concluded firmly. In a post-race interview, Diggia admitted that he had pushed himself too hard in an attempt to keep up with Marquez on the Sachsenring track. I knew the risks were high, but I didn't want to just be a spectator while Marc was in front. I tried to push my bike harder than its limits, Diggia revealed. The crash occurred in the final laps as Diggia began to close the gap on Marquez, who was leading the race. Unfortunately, his attempt to pressure the champion resulted in losing control at turn 11, a moment that immediately dashed his hopes of securing a podium finish. Once we tried to catch up to Marc, everything got complicated. He's so fast, and if you follow his pace without being fully prepared, the outcome can be fatal. And that's what happened to me today, he added with a disappointed tone. Despite failing to finish, Diggia remained proud of his performance up to that point and vowed to return stronger in the next round. We lost not because we were afraid, but because we dared to try. I have no regrets. The 2025 German MotoGP once again underscored one thing. Chasing Marc Marquez is no easy task, even for a rider as fast as Fabio Di Gianantonio.
Marco Bezzecchi, the Aprilia rider, finally spoke out about the dramatic moment he experienced at the 2025 German Moto GP yesterday. Bezzecchi, who had been performing impressively from the start of the race, briefly led for several laps at the Sachsenring circuit. However, everything changed when Marc Marquez began to close in and eventually overtaken him with an aggressive yet clean maneuver. Bezzecchi admitted that being overtaken by Marquez was a turning point that shattered his concentration. Once Marquez overtook me, everything went haywire. My confidence immediately wavered. My focus was lost, and I started making small mistakes that proved fatal, Bezzecchi told the media after the race. Bezzecchi eventually lost control at turn 11 and crashed, preventing him from securing a podium finish or completing the race. I tried to hold on, but when he overtook me like that, it felt like a mental blow. It wasn't just about speed, but about psychology. I really felt it, he added. The 2025 German Moto GP race was indeed one of the most intense, especially the duel between Bezzecchi and Marquez in the first half of the race. However, this bitter experience seems set to be a valuable lesson for the young Aprilia rider. And here's the full information. Marco Bezzecchi once again found himself in the spotlight at the 2025 German Moto GP event held at the Sachsenring circuit. However, this time it wasn't due to his podium finish, but rather because of a bitter moment he experienced. Bezzecchi, who had been performing exceptionally well and leading the race, had to face the harsh reality of being overtaken by Marc Marquez and suffering a crash that forced him to retire from the race. In a post-race interview, Bezzecchi couldn't hide his disappointment. The Italian rider admitted that the moment when Marc Marquez overtook him marked the beginning of chaos in his racing rhythm. When you're overtaken by a rider like Marc, it's not just about losing position. It's also about losing your mental edge. That's what I felt. At that moment, I was feeling strong, confident, and stable, but once Marc caught up to me, everything changed, Bezzecchi said with a bitter tone. According to him, Marquez's maneuver wasn't just about speed, but also psychological pressure. He knows when to overtake, how to make his opponent lose their mental balance. After that, I started losing focus. My braking became too aggressive, I spun the tires on a few corners, and eventually, I lost grip and crashed, Bezzecchi explained, recounting the moments leading up to the incident that knocked him out of the race. The incident occurred on lap 17, when Bezzecchi was engaged in a fierce battle at the front of the pack. Marquez, who had been trailing him for several laps, launched a clean yet aggressive attack at turn 8. Though Bezzecchi tried to block the line, Marquez's speed and boldness left him unable to hold on. After being overtaken, my mind started to race. Instead of focusing on catching up, I overthought everything. Could I regain the lead? Was I too slow? All of that piled up in my head, he said. Due to the pressure, Bezzecchi failed to maintain the bike's stability and lost control entering turn 11. He slid off the track into the gravel, shattering all hopes of securing a victory or even a podium finish. The Aprilia team could only watch from the pit wall as Bezzecchi's bike flipped over and slowly came to a stop off the track. I'm disappointed. But I won't blame anyone. This isn't the bike's or the team's fault. It's entirely my responsibility as a rider, said Bezzecchi. However, from this failure, Bezzecchi admitted he learned a valuable lesson, especially about maintaining composure under intense pressure. I learned a lot from Marc today. He's not just fast, but smart and calm. He knows when to make his opponents panic. That's a quality I need to learn if I want to win in the future, he said. With this result, Bezzecchi's position in the provisional standings hasn't changed much, but the pressure from his rivals is growing as the second half of the season approaches. Meanwhile, Marquez, who secured victory at Sachsenring, once again proved that he remains one of the most influential riders on the grid. The 2025 German Moto GP serves as a valuable lesson for Bezzecchi that speed alone isn't enough. A champion's mentality and composure under pressure are two crucial elements that must be continuously honed to compete at the highest level.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about. Have your fucking cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round. Bitch, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell